Oh, well, now Devin wants to come on and
all right. I mean, there's only like 15 minutes, but whatever he wants to say, yeah.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care or not. It's like I literally don't care. I was hoping for Supreme, but it's fine.
Is it crispy now?
Yeah.
There you go, Devin. There's your link, buddy. Hop on in.
Yeah, Zen, I was about to say, why? Actually, I was going to ask, why would you want to not go towards the biblical aspect if it's naturally going to fall there?
Well, I was just trying to like determine if they had some like well, a lot of times I'll debate people on this, and they'll set forth a principle, like a first principle, like a lot of people will say like being like gay sex is okay because it's, you know, as long as it's consensual and it doesn't harm anybody, okay, whatever. And then I'll push them to the edge of incest, and a lot of times they'll actually be like, whoa, no, I don't like that. And then from there I like to walk them and say like this is because morality is actually inscribed in your heart, and you know that incest is wrong because God says it's wrong. But it was a little bit different with that with Wordy. He kind of like he just kind of bit the bullet up within like 50. If you rewatch this, you'll see like within like the first 15 minutes, he just bit the bullet and was like, oh yeah, I guess incest is okay. I'm like, okay, well shit, I'm actually not sure how to continue here.
No, man, you're right.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, Devin's up. What's up, Devin?
Hey, what's good, guys? Sorry, I haven't got my camera on because it's late and I can't be fucked set up all my lights again. But hey, how you doing, Zen? Been a while.
Man.
How you keeping?
Yeah, a lot better than you.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Shots fired.
Always.
So, basically, after a debate, you keep running around saying I'm like pro all these random fucking things. I'm curious. Do you know what it means to be like by your description? What does it mean to be pro cannibalism, for example? I'm just curious.
To be in favor of it morally.
Okay.
Or to be in favor of like legalizing it or some sort.
Okay, cool. Do you think I'm okay? Do you think I want to legalize any of the things that you said I'm pro?
I think when pushed to the extreme, you would have to bite that bullet. Yeah.
I pretty much wouldn't. But sincerely, my guy, you just clearly don't understand utilitarianism in any sense of the word. In your debate with Malfi, when he was explaining why it wouldn't be moral to have necrophilia, you were calling it a contradiction.
Yeah,
it's literally not a contradiction.
Yeah, listen,
it's so simple.
When he was explaining the contradiction, I rewatched like those specific interactions like multiple times over, and I shit you not, it was like, well, we need to adopt certain dispositions, and when we adopt these dispositional behaviors, that when normalized, these dispositions that we adopt within the heuristicals of the dispositions that we normalize the behaviors within, then that comes out to be bad. I'm like, what the hell did you just say? It's all soft.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm glad you admit that you literally have no idea what he means by that, but you should go read up on rule utilitarianism.
And your response is literally just ad hominem.
Hang on, Devin. So I've studied utilitarianism. I'll be your huckleberry. That's just my game.
Go ahead.
So let's talk about cannibalism. If you were by yourself on an island and you're with somebody else, and the rescue ship was going to be there in a few days, but you knew for some reason you were going to starve the next day, and your buddy died, you would eat him, right?
Yep. Don't say yes. Oh, he said
yeah. I kind of feel, and why wouldn't you, right? Because you need to. He's dead. It's just a shell. It's just a husk, right? Gives you maximum utils, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now, extrapolating from there, could we say that if I could prove to you that eating dead bodies gave you maximum utility, that you would have to concede that we should eat dead bodies?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, gotcha. So I just want to walk through this with you. What would be the problem within your utilitarian worldview with eating a dead body, other than it causes emotional distress to people?
Well, there really isn't one.
Right, there really isn't one. So if you could eat dead bodies and nobody ever found out about it, right, and it brought you happiness, you would say that that's okay for a person to do, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's I don't know how you say that that's not really pro-cannibalism then.
So the problem is that, okay, there's two things here. Firstly, rule utilitarianism, which is what Malfi was talking. So that, for the record, what you've described is my position, not Malfi's. Malfi is a rule utilitarian, which is different to a. Okay,
Yep.
sure, yeah. So then you understand Malfi's entire point, like, and why he would still consider cannibalism to be immoral. But Zen couldn't understand it, and that's what I find very funny. If he wants to have these discussions, he really should understand this stuff.
Dude, like your response is always just like, oh, you just can't understand it. Oh, you just don't understand it. You don't. It's
Well,
you don't
I'm here
understand it.
and I can explain it to you if you want. That's kind of what I'm here to do.
Hang on.
So,
Hang on. I found the timestamp in our debate where it was pretty unmistakable that you were pro necrophilia. If we want to play it,
Play
like,
it.
am I able to like share my screen?
So
and play
Yeah,
it?
you
hold
can
on.
share it.
This
How
is
do I
why
do
I got
this?
you initially to define what you mean by pro, because I'm not okay with legalizing cannibalism or necrophilia. Those are two different statements to am I pro it morally?
Yeah,
Well, let
but
him play it,
Devin-
and then we'll respond to it.
Will
Let him
it
play and then we'll let you respond to it.
will it like play the? I don't know if it's gonna. Is it playing the sound right now?
No, you gotta X out one more time, and this time when you click add, add screen or share screen or whatever, make sure you click the
Oh, fuck,
share
I'm just
with
closed out.
audio.
Share with audio. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
while
so
he's
be a
doing
little
that,
lost.
Devin, if BPF just walked you through that whole line and you were giving yes, 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 how can we come up to a no, which would be inconsistent, saying that you're not pro cannibalism?
Well,
So
he
it-
is. He's saying he didn't understand Mouthy's argument.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck personally, because I
Right?
don't
He's
put
like
any
he's like
moral value on a
"Fuck dead
corpse.
bodies, fuck them, right?
Yeah, no, on a dude, 100%. I'm a vegan. Let's fry up some tasty people. Let's go for it, man. Why not?
Right.
But
I do
God,
want to play this just to
help
see
me.
if I want to see who's right.
All right,
Right,
let's
we're gonna
see it,
find
let's see it.
it's the crucible. We're gonna find out who's right.
Is
Devin,
this
I'm
working
sorry.
now? Is this working?
Yep. Play it.
Is the sound working?
No. Did you click
Fuck.
add with
Look,
add audio?
Oh wait.
Longer be moral consideration
Yeah.
placed on that body.
Oh,
Yeah,
here we go.
100%.
Hang on, right here.
We mean vegetative state. I'm assuming. And now, I really want to ask you this. You value sentience upon achieving sentience, correct?
Yeah.
And then you stop valuing. You cease moral consideration once sentience ceases, right? Once sentience ends. Okay. So, like for example, if somebody died, there would no longer be moral consideration placed on that body.
Yeah,
correct?
100%.
Okay, so necrophilia is not immoral.
No, of course not.
So necrophilia is a moral act. You're okay. You're pro necrophilia.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
well,
Okay. The
Okay.
verdict is out. I mean, sounded pretty unequivocal to me.
yeah, so again, it goes down to what you mean by pro. When I was chatting about it then, I was talking about it in a purely moral sense, but I wouldn't be okay with legalizing it because it still causes harm to sentient beings. People wouldn't be generally comfortable with that. So it causes harm to the people currently living in the society.
But
So
you
I-
understand,
whether-
you understand, Devin, when I asked you very specifically, I said you are pro necrophilia, and you said yes.
Yeah, but you got to contextualize it in context of the discussion. We was talking about specifically morals. So saying I am pro necrophilia outside of that conversation could easily be perceived as meaning, like legally speaking.
Dan,
Okay.
I got to tell you the weight of everything right now. Our clips guy is watching this. We have something called verbal seppuku on this channel.
What in the fuck is
You
that?
have to talk your way out of this right now.
Yeah,
or else we're
man,
we're clipping.
you got a hole to dig yourself out of, brother. We got to hear.
Wait,
this.
hang on.
You
There's no
cannot
hole.
say you cannot say yes, it's cool to eat dead bodies and then get away. You're getting seppuku'd if that.
Well, what's the you dude seppuku me? Go for it. I don't give a fuck. It's fine.
Oh my
Like,
god!
people who actually care about what I
All
have
right,
to say
Clips
will
guy,
look for the
you
context.
heard that.
I don't care.
Take
Go
a-
for it, man.
No, man, this is I mean, it's all in good fun, dude. Like we understand that we don't have the greater context of the conversation. I understand utilitarianism very, very, very well.
Yeah, I fully believe you do. Yeah.
Especially rule utilitarianism, and I've gone rounds with Mouthy, and I've gone rounds with Matthew. I mean Omni.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. But it always turns into utilitarianism again, man. Every single time.
What is utilitarian? It's like whatever the best outcome is for the most amount of people.
It's maximizing pleasure.
Maximizing utility
Well,
specifically.
Pleasure.
Well, this is what I actually
Yeah,
want
what
to
is
get at because you said it one time, Andrew. You said it's not subjective, right? It's not
Right.
subjective.
It's not subjective.
But-
There's actually a mathematical formula that was introduced by Bentham, in order to judge utils. The problem is that it doesn't fucking work. We know
I wouldn't think that
because
it works.
my co-host is actually a mathematician, and I sent the formula to him, and him and his wife worked on the formula, but we can't fucking make it work.
So wait, Devin, what does maximizing utility mean precisely?
So it means we're going to maximize the best outcomes that we possibly can. It's consequentialism, man. So basically, only the outcome matters, never the motivation.
But what is utility? I want to know what Devin says.
Real quick, just to be super clear. Consequentialism is a moral system that looks at or considers the consequences. Utilitarianism is a specific application of consequentialism in which you try to maximize utility. The most common type of consequentialism is utilitarianism, but it's like saying, what's a good way of putting this? It's like saying, I don't know, power metal comes under metal as a genre, right? Like metal isn't power metal, but power metal is
sure.
metal.
But both of them are metal, right?
Yeah.
So this is the point. Is like it's all consequentialism was my overarching point.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, it's a consequentialist worldview. So if you're going to judge things in utils, you got to do it like this. They figure only the outcome matters, right? That's it, and the motivation never does. So whatever motivates you is irrelevant. Only the outcomes of maximizing pleasure for the most amount of people is what matters. It's hedonism, essentially. Well, not even essentially. It just is hedonism.
Well, no, that's not quite true. There's different types of utilitarianism. So for me specifically, I'm actually a negative utilitarianism because I think utilitarianism does run into some issues. And what a negative utilitarian is, I can't speak. What a negative one is basically someone who values negative utility over positive utility. So,
No. You guys are doing this again. Last time I was on this. No, last time I was on this, you guys were like, there's a level 2 of utilitarianism. Now you're telling me there's a positive and negative. No.
Well,
We're done here.
Dude, there's a fucking mainstream Wikipedia. If it's on Wikipedia, it's real, okay?
Yeah.
No, this is just true. I
figure if it's just maximizing pleasure for the most amount of people, couldn't you like easily defeat that by saying like under a utilitarian framework, like a gang rape is good because it maximizes pleasure for the most amount of people?
People do it all the time. Or just think about this.
This is precisely the reason I'm a negative utilitarian, why a lot of people would be real utilitarians.
Right, they all have qualifiers because of that. Because it's like, okay, if you have 12 grown men around one child and all 12 of the men are pedophiles and they're all raping the child, it maximizes the utility for the 12 men.
Well,
right?
not necessarily.
The lynch mob benefits the people voting for the person to be lynched.
No, this isn't strictly true though, actually, because obviously you could run this up to a point where the amount of positive utility would outweigh negative, but generally speaking, if it's something like 12, then the suffering inflicted on the child is probably going to be severely greater than the momentary pleasure of the 12 men, right? So
it's subjective. That's the whole problem. Is it's subjective.
Well, yeah, of course. Like this is actually like we're talking about a strictly theoretical framework. In terms of measuring it, obviously that's a different discussion. But in theory, it's still.
I think.
By the way, I'm actually here to just ask Zen one thing. So because you've been running around saying I'm pro all these different things, but the fact of the matter is,
I played the evidence for it too.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Whatever. But the fact of the matter is your moral framework actually permits more of everything than mine does. And that's just a fact. So I will posit a hypothetical to you. So again, I'll go back to the same.
No hypothetical. Quote the scripture. Give it to us.
I'm just going to issue that.
Give us the receipt.
Malachi 3:6. I already did it to you, Devin. I already did it to you.
Look, okay. Look, so from your worldview, axiomatically, it's just immoral to ever commit necrophilia, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had a situation where, basically, if you had to have sex with one dead body to prevent 1 million people from having sex with 1 million dead bodies, you could never ever say that's immoral.
I'm not having sex with a dead body.
Yeah, but this is my point. So you are morally permitting, or not morally permitting, I shouldn't use that, but you're permitting the sex with the 1 million other corpses.
But that would imply if it's not that I'm permitting it, it's that I'm simply avoiding the immoral act myself, and then other people are doing that act, which is still immoral.
Yes, but it still leads to the consequence of having more of the negative action within your framework.
Well,
Dan,
but it's not
really quick. really quick, let's review these scenarios. You see how the hypotheticals that our side gives are actually realistic. They might apply to reality. They could very much happen. But then you give us a
Pedro,
scenario
no.
where raping a dead
Pedro,
body
no.
produces the savior of the human race. How does that never happens?
Yeah, but Pedro, but the point of a hypothetical is to illustrate something. So, for example, if we were to go
But the
into like an
hypothetical
algebra,
isn't applicable to it doesn't map onto reality. That's
it
my
doesn't
problem
matter.
every time.
It
But it
comes
doesn't
back to
matter.
the principle of two wrongs do not make a right, Devin.
well, okay, but that doesn't change the fact that your worldview still permits more of the negative action.
No, it
than
doesn't.
mine.
No, it doesn't, because I would
Yes,
still
it
say that
does.
that's bad. I would say I'm not doing that, and you guys shouldn't do that either. But I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
but-
I'm not gonna make you do it.
Zen, I can walk you through this baby steps if you want. We'll get there in the end. I swear to God. Okay. Okay. So, regardless of whether you still think it's bad, the rest is happening. You could never, ever, ever say to the initial person, "Don't have sex with that dead body," because it's immoral. You could never, ever, ever actually tell them to do it. You're always going to have to say it's immoral. Thus,
Yeah.
as a consequence of that, in your world, the second scenario will happen every single time. And that will always lead to more of the action than in the utilitarian framework.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're making an appeal to your worldview and then trying to apply it to mine where it actually doesn't work. I'm not a consequentialist, and I would tell you, like to make an analogy. I'm not sure if it's perfectly analogous, but I'll try. When if you are like driving drunk, I would say that you could consider that to be an immoral action, regardless of if you actually hit and kill somebody or harm somebody or crash your car or get pulled over, whatever it may be. It's an immoral action because of the irresponsibility that is inherent within the action. The danger that resides within the action itself is what makes it immoral, and it would not conform to the mind of God if we're referencing objective morality. But regardless of if you actually hit and kill somebody while drunk driving, even if you make it home safe, you still drove drunk, which is still immoral. Or if another example, if you rape a woman and turns out she ended up liking it, still wrong because you raped a woman, right? Doesn't matter. Consequences do not matter.
Yeah, so none of that conflicts with my framework, and none of that defeats the fact that your framework would still permit more of the immoral action.
Listen, I wasn't proposing a defeater to your worldview. I would do that in other ways, but I'm saying, like, when you propose consequences in my worldview, I'm telling you it doesn't confine to my world. It doesn't conform to my worldview. I don't place weight on the consequences of the actions. I place weight on the action itself.
Yeah, I understand that,
right?
But this is my entire point. Regardless of whether like you're not okay with the consequences, or you would say you don't consider the consequences. I understand that. And for the record, I don't even think this is a really good criticism of deontology. This is literally a description of it, which is why I find it ironic that you would use the same thing for consequentialism when it's just a description of it rather than a criticism of it. But either way, going back to what I was saying, that still doesn't change the fact that in your worldview, more of the bad action would happen. That's just a natural consequence of that moral framework. It doesn't matter how you slice it.
Okay. But listen, it doesn't make it. We're arguing on the morality of an action, right? The morality of necrophilia, right? And I'm telling you that is bad no matter what. Even if I don't do it and a bunch of other people choose to do it, I disavow that, and that is still wrong. My worldview does not permit that. My worldview disavows that.
What makes drunk driving inherently immoral, though?
I mean, well, I don't know if I would be able to like cross-reference this with the Bible, but I would say that it's just because, like, I think the act of getting drunk in and of itself is immoral. Like, you're being a drunkard, you would not be accepted by God. But the act of like getting drunk and then going and driving, knowing how dangerous of an action this is, how much
consequentialism, though. That's what you're saying.
100%.
Okay. Zen, I think this is one of those moments where I've actually been trying to, once again, key my mind to it. We have to take the AW method, which is say yes, 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 all the way through, take us home, and then ask the ultimate question, okay, but does that actually flesh out into reality? Is that really going to... Yeah, but is that going to happen? So we accept... I'll do it with you right now, Devin, sorry.
Yeah,
we're going to accept everything you put on the table, right? Now tell me, is there ever a scenario going to actually pop up where if me or Zen have sex with a dead body, a portion of the human race is saved. Is that ever going to happen?
Actually, yeah. So, for example, I can give you an example. In Africa, there was like some crazy fucking warlord that genuinely went around to a bunch of people and essentially held them at gunpoint and said, if you don't rape your sister, we're going to kill X number of people. So that literally has happened. Like, yes, this stuff does occasionally happen.
Right, but I already addressed this. Devin. In our debate, I pointed out that if you are placed in a scenario, African warlord, big mean guy says, "Hey, do bad thing," or "I do bad things to other people," and you say, "No, I'm not going to do the bad thing." Okay, but you are still at that moment of saying no. You have not committed an immoral action. You have not raped your sister. You have not raped anybody. You haven't fucked a dead body. Nothing bad has happened on your doing. Right, but then as a response, the African warlord, the big mean guy, says, "All right, I'm going to go kill a bunch of people."
Yeah.
Okay, well then he went and killed. He did that, not me.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
That was not my wrongdoing.
Yeah, I completely understand. But descriptively, what I'm saying is still holds true. Your worldview will lead to these actions. I'm just saying that descriptively, and it's just a fact.
Your worldview,
Devin, out of pure curiosity, can you link us that article for that warlord? I just want to read about him.
Hang on one sec.
I just want to know.
This is like years ago.
But either way, like what my worldview actually permits, it's like the idea of like we don't negotiate with terrorists. Put yourself in if we're talking about like a pragmatic scenario of a big mean guy says, "Hey, do really bad thing, or I'm going to do even worse things to other people." Like, okay, this guy's clearly got no moral compass. This guy's clearly twisted and deranged. What reason would you even have to believe that if you do what he says, then he's not going to go do the things that he threatened to do? And then from that point, you've now negotiated with a terrorist, and they're going to keep going and do more. Like
we're talking about random practical applications. Like regardless of how this would actually pan out, morally speaking, from a theoretical perspective, what I'm saying still holds true, and I'm just showing that it can be applied to real life, regardless of whether or not it actually pans out within that scenario. Obviously, from my framework, I would say it's worse if you go through with the action, then he ends up killing a bunch of people regardless, right? That's obviously still a worse outcome. So from my perspective, I would still say that is worse. But all I'm demonstrating is that from your point of view, your worldview will permit these actions, regardless of whether you think they're good or bad.
Hang on.
But anyway, look, I actually do have to dip. It's like 2:10. So if you want to have this discussion another time, you can have us both on. But I've got to dip, man.
Yeah, we'll go some rounds on utilitarianism sometime, man. It'll be fun.
Sure.
Have yourself a good night.
Yeah, you too. Night, everyone. Have a good time, and peace out.
See ya.